Fine. So we'll put the rectification behind now and we'll go ahead with the next topic now, that is the bank reconciliation statement. I request everyone sitting in this session, attending this session, to have the 100% concentration on what I have been talking about instead of applying their own brain when we are talking about things. Why I say it so? Generally, I don't say something like this, but why I say it so? The simple reason behind that is the kind of doubts which are coming. I've been observing based on that your concentration level misses out when you are thinking on your own. तो जब मैं बात कर रहा है तो आपको वही सुनना है जो मैं बात कर रहा हूं. उसके बाद आपको अगर कहीं डाउट आते हैं तो आई एम देयर टू सॉल्व दोस. I cannot repeat the same statement for n number of times. Had this been my normal lecture, I would have seriously told you, I would have seriously given you the answer to everything for n number of times. I was not having any kind of problem. Because we are into the marathon run, because we have to finish off a lot many topics, so I cannot go into that kind of fashion. I have to be in rush. So I want your concentration to be increased. I expect you to be having more focused, because anyways the exam has arrived. It's only a month away now. We are already on 6th of October, isn't it? Well, let's talk about the topic of bank reconciliation statement. Now, what is this bank reconciliation statement? It is the statement which is prepared for the purpose of identifying, adjusting the reasons for difference between the balance as per my cash book bank column and the passbook of the bank. Why should I do it? ठीक है, दोनों के balances अलग अलग है. That doesn't make any big difference for me. Why should I check it? The reason for checking this is, in my cash book, I record the transactions as and when I am entering into the transaction. So obviously, logically, the bank is expected to give the effect of that immediately or not. However, there are certain effects or there are certain situations wherein the bank follows its process. And as a result of that, I am recording the transaction on one date and the bank is recording the transaction on some other date, and due to that, these two balances are not matching. अब क्या होता था कि इसका फायदा लेके कुछ लोग डिफाल्केशन, जिसे हम लोग घपला कहते हैं, घपला करने की कोशिश करते थे. अब इस घपले को अवॉइड करने के लिए अगर आपको अपने बिजनेस पे कंट्रोल रखना है तो उसके लिए there were the different methods, and one of the method was reconciliation. When you do the reconciliation of your cash book and passbook, you try to identify that what my balance as per cash book bank column and my balance as per passbook, why these two are not matching. And when you try and observe these two, you understand the reason behind not matching are, number one, you have recorded the transaction in cash book, but that has not got reflected in the passbook. Or there is a transaction which is recorded in passbook, but that is not getting reflected in my cash book. अब यहां अगर मैंने ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड कर लिया और बैंक ने अब तक रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया, तो दैट मस्ट बी पेंडिंग बिकॉज ऑफ द बैंकिंग प्रोसेस, बैंकिंग सिस्टम्स. Like for example, if I issued the check to the bank, to a supplier, when my supplier will deposit that check into his bank will process that check and bring that check to my bank and collect the money. That takes time. Or if I have deposited the check into my bank, received from some of my customer, that doesn't get credited every time on an immediate date. There is a process of bank, that is called a check truncation system. और उस चेक ट्रंकेशन सिस्टम के बाद ही वो चेक का अमाउंट मेरे अकाउंट में क्रेडिट होता है. But I record the transaction on the date I deposit the check. But the bank record the check on the date they receive the money. So there is a difference because of this banking process. Whereas in the case of the transactions are recorded in passbook, but those are not reflected in cash book. Means what? The bank may have levied certain charges. The bank may have collected certain money on your behalf. The bank may have paid certain money on your behalf. These all amounts which are collected, paid by bank, and the bank has recorded it, but we have not recorded in our cash book, should have been recorded in our cash book or not. ये चीजें मुझे कब पता चली? जब मैं दोनों को कंपेयर करने गया तब. And that's why you need the reconciliation. The second reason why the differences arise between your cash book and the passbook are when you are making the entries in your cash book, you may make certain mistakes. So for rectifying those errors, first you need to identify that there are the errors. वो कब identify कर पाओगे? जब तुम्हें पता चलेगा कि एरर है. वो पता कैसे चलेगा? जब तुम कैश बुक का बैंक कॉलम तुम्हारे पासबुक के साथ कंपेयर करना चालू करोगे तब. Only then you'll be able to identify that there are the errors in my cash book. The third reason why your cash book bank column and the passbook do not match is the bank has made certain errors. In a sense, bank gave you the wrong credit. Bank debited your account wrongly. Bank has written the amount in your account wrongly. Bank has written the transaction in your wrong side. Deposit ka withdrawal likh diya, withdrawal ka deposit likh diya. There also they have the human interface. And as a result of that, there are the errors in the passbook. So three prominent reasons why your cash book and passbook balance do not match are transactions recorded in either of the book, errors in my cash book, and the errors in the passbook. These are the three prominent reasons. Now, how do I identify these differences? I have to check out the bank statement or my bank passbook and my cash book for a given period up to a particular date. The reconciliation is always done up to a particular point or a particular date. Means what? The bank reconciliation statement is a point statement. The bank reconciliation statement is prepared as at a particular date only. The bank reconciliation statement is a memorandum statement. Why I'm saying this? Because my bank reconciliation statement do not affect my books of accounts. In my bank reconciliation statements, whatever transactions are being shown are shown only for the sake of information. I prepare the bank reconciliation statement on a particular date at a particular point, and that's why it is called as a point statement. A further point, how do I identify these reasons is by comparing my cash book bank column with my passbook or bank statement. All the transactions which are recorded into the debit side of my cash book indicate deposits. All the transactions which are shown into the credit side of my cash book indicates withdrawal from the bank. So if I have shown the deposits, even the bank is expected to show the deposits. If I have shown the withdrawals, when I have shown the deposits in my cash book, should get reflected in my passbook on the deposit side or onto the credit side. when I have shown certain transactions onto the credit side of my cash book, that is withdrawal in my cash book should get reflected as withdrawal in my passbook or the debit side of my passbook. So I compare the debit side of my cash book with the credit side of my passbook. I compare the credit side of my cash book with the debit side of my passbook. And on the comparison of these two, I identify that what are the reasons for the cash book not matching with passbook balance. Further point, in my cash book, if there is a debit balance, the debit balance indicates that deposits are more than withdrawals. So debit balance as per my cash book is a favorable balance, a withdrawable balance. Whereas if my cash book credit side is more than debit side, that means in my cash book, if I'm having the credit balance, in that case, it is an overdraft because I have withdrawn the money more than what I have deposited. So debit balance as per cash book is a favorable balance and credit balance as per cash book is a overdraft balance. Similarly, in my passbook, if there is a debit balance, that indicates that I have withdrawn more than what I have deposited, because passbook debit indicates withdrawal and credit indicates deposits. So debit balance as per cash book is a favorable balance, whereas debit balance as per passbook is an overdraft. Credit balance as per passbook is a favorable balance, but credit balance as per cash book is an overdraft. Am I right? Debit balance, passbook, overdraft, cash book, favorable. Credit balance, passbook, favorable, cash book, overdraft. Am I right? क्यों बात की मैंने ये? Because many a times in the examination, they, instead of giving you directly what is favorable or overdraft, they give you debit balance as per cash book, credit balance as per passbook, or something like that. And at that time, you need to assess it properly. All right. Now, your reconciliation process. Your reconciliation process is a 3-steps process. Please understand and remember, I am just trying to observe what is to be added, what is to be subtracted only for the sake of understanding. It is not going to affect my balance as per cash book or balance as per passbook in any circumstance till the time I prepare the adjusted cash book. So, what is the 3-step process? Step 1, I presume that my balance as per cash book and the balance as per passbook both are same before the given reason for difference. मेरे कंपैरिजन के बाद जो मुझे रीजंस फॉर डिफरेंस मिले, इस रीजन फॉर डिफरेंस के पहले मेरे कैश बुक का बैलेंस मेरे पासबुक के बैलेंस के साथ मैच हो रहा था, दोनों सेम थे, या तो दोनों फेवरेबल थे या तो दोनों ओवरड्राफ्ट थे। ऐसा मैं अज्यूम कर रहा हूं, ये एक्चुअल नहीं है। इन रियलिटी ये दोनों अलग भी हो सकते हैं, ये दोनों सेम भी हो सकते हैं। सो आई अज्यूम that my balance as per cash book or overdraft as per cash book is the balance as per passbook or the overdraft as per passbook. Then step 2, I adjust the book where the transaction is recorded first. Adjust the book means what? Either I reduce the amount of transaction from my cash book, increase in my cash book, increase in my passbook, or decrease in my passbook based on the nature of transaction. But I will adjust this transaction in the book where the transaction is recorded first. जिस किसी भी बुक में उस ट्रांजैक्शन को पहले रिकॉर्ड किया गया उसी बुक को आप एडजस्ट करोगे, या सब सिंपल भाषा में कहा जाए तो आप वही हाथ मूव करोगे जिस बुक में ट्रांजैक्शन पहले रिकॉर्ड हुआ। ऑलराइट, एंड देन स्टेप 3, आपको जो कुछ भी बैलेंस दिया गया, मतलब आपको फेवरेबल बैलेंस एज पर कैश बुक दिया गया, आपको ओवरड्राफ्ट एज पर कैश बुक दिया गया, आपको फेवरेबल बैलेंस एज पर पासबुक दिया गया, या आपको ओवरड्राफ्ट एज पर पासबुक दिया गया, दैट बिकम्स योर स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट। So based on your starting point, decide whether the given item has to be added. अगर आप नीचे से ऊपर जा रहे हो तो add, और ऊपर से नीचे आ रहे हो तो subtract. Step 1, both were same before the given transaction of difference. Step 2, adjust the book where the transaction is recorded first. Step 3, based on your starting point, add or subtract. This is the process of reconciliation. अब ये जब हम लोग एग्जाम्पल करेंगे तो उसमें तुमको समझ आएगा। एक एग्जाम्पल जस्ट ओरली फॉर द टाइम बिंग बताता हूं। Suppose you have been given check issued for rupees 10,000 not presented for payment, and your starting point is say favorable balance as per passbook, credit balance as per passbook is the starting point. So if credit balance as per passbook is the starting point, check issued but not presented, check issued पहले कहां रिकॉर्ड होगा? In your cash book on to the credit side, correct or not? Fine. So what is my step 1? Step 1 is CB bal, PB bal, bal bal, because I have to presume that both the balances as per cash book as well as passbook are same. Yes or no? Accordingly, CB bal, PB bal, sorry, PB bal, CB bal, bal bal. ये ट्रांजैक्शन पहले कहां रिकॉर्ड होगा? इन माय कैश बुक, क्योंकि मैंने चेक इशू किया तो मेरा कैश बुक का बैलेंस कम हो गया, बट पासबुक का बैलेंस मैंने अब तक के कम नहीं किया क्योंकि पासबुक में अब तक के ये चेक प्रेजेंट नहीं हुआ है। व्हाट इज माय स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट? स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट इज पासबुक, सो पासबुक टू कैश बुक लेस द गिवन ट्रांजैक्शन. Did you get that? Bank charges debited by bank not recorded in cash book. Bank charges debited by bank not recorded in cash book. Again, PV val, CV val, val val. बैंक चार्जेस डेबिटेड बाय बैंक, मतलब बैंक ने आपका फेवरेबल बैलेंस कम कर दिया, पर आपने अब तक तो उसको रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया है, तो आपके पास तो बैलेंस ज्यादा है ना। तो मैं क्या सोच रहा हूं, अगर पासबुक में भी ये ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं रिकॉर्ड हुआ होता तो पासबुक का बैलेंस ज्यादा होता है नहीं। Therefore, PB to CB add. I am not changing the balance of passbook. I am not changing the balance of cash book. Those remain same. I am just trying to identify कि अगर ये रीजन फॉर डिफरेंस एडजस्ट कर दिए जाते, अगर ये रीजन फॉर डिफरेंस नहीं होते, will the balances remain same? That is what we are trying to identify with the help of bank reconciliation statement. Am I right? I hope I'm going good for everyone. Can you just raise hands for me? If cash book bank, yeah, lower your hands. If cash book bank balance as passbook balance are same, does it still mean that there may be some errors? Not necessarily errors. Vindhya, not necessarily errors. There can be the reasons for difference even after that. Because reasons for difference may include the errors, but not always there will be the errors. हम लोग डिपॉजिट कर रहे मतलब बैंक की लाइबिलिटी है ना, कि फ्यूचर में उनको मुझे पेएबल है। ऑफ कोर्स, करेक्ट मिस्टर सुमित। हम खुद खड़े हो जाएंगे आपके लिए, हाथ क्या चाहिए? अरे भाई संचेत, कितना टाइम पास रहे, अभी खुद को पास करने का टाइम आ गया है। या so this was the examples from the perspective of favorable balance as per cash book. Now if there is an favorable balance as per passbook. Now if there is an overdraft as per cash book, means credit balance as per cash book. Now, whether you are doing the reconciliation as per favorable balance or you are doing it as per the overdraft balance, that doesn't make any difference. Why? Because the reconciliation process remains same. Why the reconciliation process remains same? Because now, why the process of reconciliation will remain same? Understand the point. Because the steps are considering whether there is a favorable or overdraft, it remains same. The only point is that in case of overdraft, the deposits decrease the balance and withdrawals increase the overdraft. In case of overdraft, I said the deposits decrease my overdraft and withdrawals increase my overdraft. That's the point of difference between favorable balance and the overdraft. Now, let's come to that particular point. My starting point is overdraft as per cash book. Credit balance as per cash book is my starting point. What is the step one? Step one, ODOD, CBOD, PBOD, ODOD. Step two, deposits decrease, withdrawals increase. Step three, based on starting point, decide whether to add or to subtract. Correct? Now, suppose the transaction given to me is bank paid the insurance charges not recorded in cash book. Bank paid the insurance charges not recorded in cash book. अब आपने कैश बुक में रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया पर बैंक ने तो रिकॉर्ड कर दिया. CBOD, PBOD, ODOD. बैंक पेड द इंश्योरेंस चार्जेस मतलब आपका ऑलरेडी ओवरड्राफ्ट था और बैंक ने पैसा दे दिया, मतलब ओवरड्राफ्ट बढ़ा दिया बैंक ने, पर आपने नहीं बढ़ाया. Therefore, CB to PB add. Why? My assumption is अगर ये ट्रांजैक्शन कैश बुक में रिकॉर्ड हो गया होता तो कैश बुक का ओडी बढ़ जाता. Correct or not? Similarly, suppose the transaction is check deposited into bank but returned dishonored. Check deposited into bank but returned dishonored, not recorded in cash book. क्या रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ कैश बुक में? डिसऑनर रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ. So CBOD, PBOD, ODOD. चेक डिपॉजिटेड इनटू बैंक, तब आपने ओडी कम कर दिया था. अब ये डिसऑनर हो गया तो आपने ओडी बढ़ा देनी चाहिए थी, पर बैंक ने अब तक के ओडी नहीं बढ़ाया. So CB to PB add with the difference amount. Now, a very interesting point is that if the opening balance of cash book and passbook are different, in that case, the reconciliation of opening balances is done separately and the reconciliation of closing balance is done separately. Am I right, Mr. Kalpesh Nikom? Whenever you are given the difference in the opening balances, you have to first identify the reasons for difference in the opening balance. And then and only then you can do the reconciliation of the closing balances of your cash book and passbook. Further point. If suppose you have done the reconciliation, you have added certain items, you have subtracted certain items, based on your analysis, based on deciding whether the given item will be added, given item will be subtracted, वो step 2, 3, 4 सब कुछ करके. Now, after doing the additions and subtractions, if the ending balance comes negative, in that case, it will be considered as the opposite type of balance. What do I mean by opposite type of balance? अगर आपने फेवरेबल बैलेंस के हिसाब से स्टार्टिंग बैलेंस लिया हुआ है तो नेगेटिव एंडिंग बैलेंस विल इंडिकेट ओवरड्राफ्ट, वेयरएज अगर आपने स्टार्टिंग में ओवरड्राफ्ट के हिसाब से स्टार्ट किया हुआ है तो एंडिंग बैलेंस विल बी कंसीडर्ड एज फेवरेबल बैलेंस. कब? जब नेगेटिव एंडिंग बैलेंस आएगा तब. Am I right? Further point that if you are doing the reconciliation and you have got certain casting errors in your cash book, in that case, what you're supposed to do is first you go back to your cash book. When you come to your cash book, this is cash book debit side, this is cash book credit side, correct? In your cash book debit side, if there is an undercasting, means your favorable balance is shown less, overdraft is shown higher. Whereas if the debit side is overcast, means the favorable balance is shown more and overdraft is shown less. Can't we take opposite balance of favorable balance for unfavorable one? I mean, if favorable balance is positive, then obviously unfavorable balance is negative. Yes, of course it is. Of course it is. But the point is what? Samruddhi, point is that when you are doing that, in that case, तुम्हारा अगर प्लस माइनस एंगल से अगर सॉल्व करोगे तो यू गेट कंफ्यूज कि फेवरेबल बैलेंस को प्लस में लिखें, चेक डिपॉजिट को प्लस में लिखें, चेक इशूड को माइनस में लिखें, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी डोंट सजेस्ट दैट पर्टिकुलर मेथड. वी सिंपली से दैट यू डू इट इन द नॉर्मल फैशन. Of course, Nakul's question is negative balance आया तो बुक चेंज होगा क्या? अरे भाई, तुमने अगर कैश बुक से स्टार्ट किया है तो एंडिंग पॉइंट हमेशा पासबुक होगा. अगर तुमने पासबुक से स्टार्ट किया है तो एंडिंग पॉइंट हमेशा कैश बुक होगा. अब वो कैश बुक का फेवरेबल बैलेंस है या ओवरड्राफ्ट बैलेंस है, वो डिपेंड करेगा कि तुम्हारा अगर पॉजिटिव आंसर आ रहा है तो फेवरेबल का फेवरेबल, अगर निगेटिव आंसर आ रहा है तो फेवरेबल का ओडी. Debit balance as per cash book, bank column of cash book is. Achha, question is, sir, it's confusing when it is asked that debit balance as per passbook, as per bank column of cash book, is it unfavorable balance? अरे भाई, debit balance as per bank column of cash book, अभी मैंने शुरुआत में क्या कहा? Cash book debit balance means deposits are more than withdrawals. मतलब there is a favorable balance or not? And if there's a credit balance in the cash book, it indicates overdraft as per cash book. बैंक कॉलम ऑफ कैश बुक की ही बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग यहाँ पे, कोई कैश कॉलम ऑफ कैश बुक की बात कर ही नहीं रहे जब रिकंसिलिएशन की बात आती है तो. Can we say that the effect in OD is opposite of what that when balance is favorable every time? Yes, of course, it is absolutely correct. But you think from the perspective of the normal system. Casting error वापस एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ साक्षी, just wait for it. ओपनिंग बैलेंस का एग्जांपल दो ना. ओपनिंग बैलेंस का एग्जांपल मैं सिंपली इतने कह सकता हूं, इफ द डेबिट बैलेंस कैश बुक का डेबिट बैलेंस इज 10,000, पासबुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस इज 8,000, and you have been told in the statement that check issued in the previous month was not yet, check deposited in the previous month was not yet cleared up till the first date. That will be appearing in your passbook on to the credit side, which will remain as an uncommon item. So that will automatically bring the reconciliation. Effect of undercast and overcast I'm going to talk about. Wait a while for that. Can you tell the effect of transaction wherein the payment side of cash book is overcast? By rukna, by सिखाता है ना मैं. Discounting of bill का एक example. अरे सब example आएंगे, रुक जा. Okay. So I was talking about the casting errors. Yes, Sakshi, that's absolutely correct. The recording errors casting errors is what we have to talk about. Casting errors में मैंने क्या कहा? You go back to your cash book. कैश बुक में आप चेक करो कि कास्टिंग एरर कहां पे है, डेबिट साइड में या क्रेडिट साइड में। अगर डेबिट साइड अंडरकास्ट है तो फेवरेबल बैलेंस कम हो गया, ओवरड्राफ्ट बढ़ गया। अगर क्रेडिट डेबिट साइड ओवरकास्ट है तो फेवरेबल बैलेंस बढ़ गया, ओवरड्राफ्ट कम हो गया। दिस इज एज पर कैश बुक एंड देन यू गो बैक टू रिकंसिलिएशन। अगर आपका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट फेवरेबल है तो कैश बुक का फेवरेबल ज्यादा है, पासबुक का फेवरेबल कम है। अगर आपका ओवरड्राफ्ट स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है तो कैश बुक का ओवरड्राफ्ट कम है, पासबुक का ओवरड्राफ्ट ज्यादा है, बिकॉज यू केम बैक फ्रॉम कैश बुक टू द पासबुक, राइट? I think let me complete the concepts first and then you ask the questions, because what is happening is if you'll keep forcing on me to the questions that you have, I don't have any problem in solving those, but the point is it will unnecessarily lead to the distraction and then it will surely be creating the kind of confusion further than clarification of the things. All right. So you people need to understand this thoroughly. Right? Fine. I said whenever, please understand, मैंने ये शुरुआत में इसलिए कहा कि आप सुनो पहले मैं क्या करूं। Whenever you are given a casting error, you go back to the cash book. अब आप कैश बुक में आ गए, CB डेबिट, CB क्रेडिट, करेक्ट? अब कैश बुक का अगर आपने डेबिट अंडरकास्ट किया, यहां देखो आप, मैंने थोड़ा शॉर्टकट से समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा था क्योंकि एग्जाम में आप हर बार ये कैश बुक नहीं बना पाओगे, but some of them want the screen to be clear, so that's why I'm coming on to the screen then. If debit is undercast, which means what? The favorable balance will be lesser and overdraft will be higher or not? क्योंकि अगर आपने डेबिट को अंडरकास्ट किया मतलब डिपॉजिट कम दिखा रहे हो, अगर डिपॉजिट कम दिखा रहे हो तो आपका फेवरेबल बैलेंस कम दिखेगा एज पर कैश बुक, पर ओवरड्राफ्ट ज्यादा दिखेगा एज पर कैश बुक। नाउ व्हेन यू गो बैक टू योर रिकंसिलिएशन, in your reconciliation you try to observe, what do you observe? You try to observe कि आपको ओडी दिया गया था या फेवरेबल दिया गया था। अगर आपका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ओवरड्राफ्ट है तो पासबुक से कैश बुक का ओडी ज्यादा है, और अगर आपको फेवरेबल दिया गया था तो पासबुक से कैश बुक का फेवरेबल बैलेंस कम है। Did you get this? Similarly, if you observe that credit side is undercast, अब कैश बुक डेबिट, कैश बुक क्रेडिट, कैश बुक का क्रेडिट साइड अंडरकास्ट, कैश बुक का क्रेडिट साइड अगर अंडरकास्ट है means favorable balance as per cash book is more than the passbook, or overdraft as per cash book is less than the passbook or not. So go back to the reconciliation, you try to find out कि cash book का favorable balance ज्यादा था as compared to passbook, या फिर cash book का overdraft कम था as compared to the passbook. This is how you need to do the analysis of casting errors. जब भी कास्टिंग एरर्स हो, एक ही पॉइंट याद रखना कि फर्स्ट यू हैव टू गो बैक टू द कैश बुक का एनालिसिस करो, फिर आप पासबुक में वापस जाओ, अपने आप तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम सोल्व हो जाएगा. Am I right? Yes. Of course, I know this is easier than making a cash book, the whole of cash book. It creates more trouble, but still, let it be. No problem. Further, so I have talked about the types of balances. I have talked about the steps of reconciliation. I have talked about the negative ending balance. I have talked about the casting errors. Now, last important thing that we have to talk about, two important things. One is adjusted cash book, and when you are given the cash book as well as passbook. If the cash book as well as passbook is given, means the reason for difference are not been provided to you in the statement form. Normally reason for differences दिए जाते हैं, पर अगर आपको कैश बुक और पासबुक दोनों दे दिए गए हैं तो रीजंस फॉर डिफरेंस भी आप ही को आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं. And if you are required to identify those reasons for difference, you need to first check. Please remember this forever. जब भी आपको कैश बुक और पासबुक दोनों दे दिए गए, जब भी आपको कैश बुक और पासबुक दोनों दे दिए गए हैं, तो you first try to check whether the cash book and passbook are of the same month or not. If the cash book and passbook are of the same months, in that case, you are supposed to do the reconciliation of the cash book closing balance with the passbook closing balance. In that case, you compare cash book debit side with passbook credit side, cash book credit side with passbook debit side, and whatever are the items being reflected in both cash book as well as passbook will not come in reconciliation. Why? जो आइटम दोनों कैश बुक और पासबुक में रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है वो रिकंसिलिएशन में क्यों आएगा? What will you have in the reconciliation is only uncommon items. Correct? Reconciliation when cash book and passbook is given. All right. In that case, both of same period. What are you supposed to do? Reconcile the closing balances of both. Compare debit of cash book with credit of passbook and vice versa. That is credit of cash book with debit of passbook. And only uncommon items. Only uncommon items are reasons for difference. Did you get this? Whereas cash book of 1 month and passbook of subsequent month is given. ये दोनों same month के नहीं है. In that case, reconcile closing balance of cash book with opening balance of पासबुक. हमेशा पासबुक ही सब्सिक्वेंट मंथ का दिया जाएगा आपको, कैश बुक कभी भी सब्सिक्वेंट मंथ का नहीं दिया जाएगा. Same ways you have to do, compare the two. All right, and only common items will be the reasons for difference. Did you people understand this? When you are given the cash book as well as the passbook, in that case you are supposed to do it like this. Can you raise hands for me if that is clear? अच्छा, आधे से कम जनता को ही समझा है क्या? बाकी लोग क्या है? स्टार्टिंग बैलेंस किसका लेंगे? जिसका आप लेना चाहें मिस्टर ऋतिक शाह. You can start from either cash book or passbook. If you have started from cash book, the ending balance will be of the passbook. If your starting point is passbook, your ending balance will be of the cash book. Shreya, in the last part I said what? When you are doing the reconciliation, when you have done the comparison, only uncommon items will come. Why uncommon items? Because जो item दोनों cash book और passbook में reflect हो गए, how can that be the reason for difference? So the reason for difference is only uncommon items. But when you are given the cash book of one month and the passbook of subsequent month, तो जो कैश बुक में पिछले महीने में हमने ट्रांजैक्शन किए थे और पासबुक के इस महीने में रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहे हैं, those will be the reason for difference or not? Yes or no? So accordingly, the reason for difference are only common items when it comes to the cash book and passbook of different month. Am I clear? Now, last concept in this, from the conceptual discussion point of view, that is the concept of adjusted cash book. What is adjusted cash book? The adjusted cash book is basically the book which is prepared for the purpose of rectifying the errors in our cash book, for recording the transactions in our cash book which are not yet being recorded. Understand a point here very carefully. When I am preparing my financial statements, when I prepare my books of accounts, in my books of accounts, in my financial statements, I am supposed to show the correct balance as per my cash book for the bank balance. Yes or no? Now, if I am expected to show the correct balance as per my cash book, and if I have identified that there are certain transactions which are not yet been recorded in my cash book, which ought to have been recorded, or if there are any errors in my cash book, I need to get it corrected. And for that purpose, I prepare a corrected cash book, or we commonly call that as the adjusted cash book. Now, what is this corrected or adjusted cash book? Number one, it is prepared for the purpose of rectifying the errors in cash book. Number two, the balance of this adjusted cash book will be appearing in the balance sheet. Whether it is asset or liability depends upon whether it is a favorable balance or overdraft. Now, when I prepared the adjusted cash book, even after that, I may require the reconciliation. Why? Because if you understand with the example of the transactions like check issued but not presented, checks deposited but not credited, or errors in passbook, these checks issued, checks deposited are pending because of the banking process. Those are not the errors in my cash book. The errors in passbook have to be rectified by the bank. I cannot rectify that. So even after preparing my adjusted cash book, there will be three reasons for difference. That is, the checks issued but not presented, checks deposited but not credited, and the errors in passbook. But one point that you'll be required to remember in here, and that is, when I'm preparing the reconciliation after adjusted cash book, the starting balance of my bank reconciliation statement will be the closing balance of adjusted cash book. You please write this as a point to remember. When the reconciliation is done after preparing the adjusted cash book, when the reconciliation is done after preparing the adjusted cash book, the starting balance of bank reconciliation statement will be the starting balance of the bank reconciliation statement will be the closing balance as per adjusted cash book. Write down one more point to remember. Next point to remember, write down. If the question is, what will be the balance of cash book? What will be the balance of cash book to be shown in balance sheet? To be shown in balance sheet, comma, don't prepare BRS. Don't prepare BRS, but prepare adjusted cash book. But prepare adjusted cash book. Am I right? Yes, I hope you have understood the basic concepts of reconciliation statement. हाँ, अब आपके सवाल पूछ लो, फिर मैं आगे बढ़ता हूँ to the examples. If balance as per passbook is given and the reason for differences are given, but the question says to prepare adjusted cash book and then the BRS, then should we first find the balance as per cash book using the passbook balance and then adjusted cash book? Yes, of course. You'll be required to do it accordingly, or there is a shortcut. Shortcut is what? In your bank reconciliation statement, if you adjust only these three reasons for difference, that is, checks issued but not presented, checks deposited but not credited, and the errors in passbook, you will automatically be able to get the balance as per adjusted cash book. But that's a shortcut. Whether that will be accepted or not, that's a different thing. Items in adjusted cash book. Items in adjusted cash book, Manisha, are the errors in cash book and the transactions in passbook which should have been recorded in my cash book. Those will come in my adjusted cash book. Am I clear? Shall I go ahead? पहले कोई सवाल था एक, मैंने उनको हकाल दिया था, कहाँ गया? Neha, now you can ask the question. I think she left. Sanchit, whatever are the questions given in the LAMP, I'm going to take only those questions. Rest of the questions are already been taken in the class. You have to identify that. In case both cash book and passbook are given and opening balances are different, then what to do? You first need to do the reconciliation of opening balance. That means you have to find the difference between the opening balances and you have to write in the reconciliation statement difference in opening balance. Pratiji, just a moment. Yeah, Pratiji, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go.
So what is the difference between party's account with the bank and bank in account with the party?
Party's account with the bank means my account in the bank. And bank account with the party means bank account in my books of accounts.
Okay. So is there any will it like that? Will there be any difference while we are preparing the BRS?
No,
Like
not at all.
while comparing the
Party's
size,
account in the bank is nothing but the passbook, and bank account in the party's book is nothing but the cash book, bank column.
it's one and the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
If in question they have asked first BRS and then adjusted cash book, then which balance should be taken for BRS? If it is first BRS and then adjusted cash book, then the balance already been provided to you will be the starting balance of your BRS. But if it is first adjusted cash book and then BRS, then in that case your starting balance of the BRS will be the closing balance of adjusted cash book. Undercasting and overcasting, Samyak, you have to go through the video again. I said you are expected to be full in concentration when I'm talking about. Related to subsidiary company, should be reconciled in the same statement or not? Yes, of course. Subsidiary company is a third party for us when it comes to reconciliation. मेरे बैंक में से मेरे ट्रांजैक्शन आ सकते हैं, चाहे वो मेरी सिस्टर कंसर्न हो, एसोसिएट कंसर्न हो या सब्सिडियरी कंसर्न हो. Those transactions cannot reflect in my books of accounts or my current account. Even मेरे पास सेविंग अकाउंट है, करंट अकाउंट है. सेविंग अकाउंट का चेक अगर मेरे करंट अकाउंट में डेबिट या क्रेडिट होता है, then in that case it's the error by the bank. If it is unfavorable balance as per cash book, then can we just change the sign of balance and go with the regular approach? No, not necessary. यहाँ तुम हमेशा mistake करोगे, your answers will come wrong. There is no need of changing the sign. Go with the process. सिर्फ इतना ही ख्याल रखना है. ओवरड्राफ्ट में डिपॉजिट ओवरड्राफ्ट को कम करता है और विड्रॉल ओवरड्राफ्ट को बढ़ाता है. If question is silent, is it okay to make ACB first and then? No, not at all. If the question is silent, you have to only prepare BRS. खुद का काम खुद मत बढ़ाओ. Yes, Abhishek, that's absolutely correct. So let me come to the questions now. तो वो split screen कैसे करते रहे? Interest on bank overdraft charged on final balance? No, not at all. Not at all. It is not charged on the final balance. It is charged on the daily outstanding. When there are two different bank accounts for reconciliation. When there are two different bank accounts for reconciliation, for each bank account, the reconciliation will be done separately. नहीं हो रहा है. ऐसे हैं, कुछ भी सिखा रहे हो मेरे को, गलत सिखा रहे हो. हमारे आईपैड में नहीं होता है. ऐसा हो रहा है. छोड़ो छोड़ो छोड़ो, जाने दो. मेरा नॉर्मल मेथड ठीक है. Down to right side. नहीं है वो, छोड़ छोड़, let it be. छोड़ो, हम गवारी ठीक है. Sir, if question is silent, we have to do is just the statement. Yes, of course. छोड़ो यार. Arey Siddhi, I cannot take the questions because ICI also did not ask the questions of that kind. हाँ ठीक है, अब मेरे को मत सिखाओ, अभी छोड़ दो, छोड़ दो, अभी खत्म करो. We'll ask and get it done. Entry was posted twice on cash book, then it's goes in adjusted cash book. Yes, it will be a rectification entry. It's there with me. बस ऐसा था. Check your. हाँ ठीक है, हो गया हो गया हो गया. The first BRS is to be prepared and then cash book. Then we take all the differences in BRS and arrive at the cash book balance. And अरे भाई, arrive at the cash book balance कैसे होगा भूषण? If your starting balance is as per cash book, how can it be the case? Are you able to understand what you are talking about? If it is starting with passbook, then yes, you have to first arrive at the cash book balance, then prepare the adjusted cash book. Let me come to the questions now of the BRS. Yes, the cash book of Messrs ABC. यही प्रॉब्लम होता है. मैं जब कोई कंसेप्ट डिस्कस कर रहा हूं ना, तुम लोग ना डिस्ट्रैक्टेड होते हो. I'll just repeat for the last time. I said what? That when you are being given the balance as per passbook, and if you want to arrive at the cash book balance and then prepare the adjusted cash book, you first prepare the BRS normally, arrive at the cash book balance and then prepare the adjusted cash book. This is one way of doing it. From the exam point of view, you should be doing it like that only. However, you have got an alternate. If the question is for only say 4 marks, then in that case, what alternate you have? In the passbook balance, you adjust only 3 items. Which 3 items? The checks issued but not presented, checks deposited but not credited, and the errors in passbook. If you adjust these three items, you automatically arrive at the adjusted cash book balance, that is corrected cash book balance. You can cross check. तुम problem solve करके देखो, तुमको समझ में आ जाएगा मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. Alright? Okay, the cash book of Messrs. ABC shows 27,570 as the balance at bank as on 31st March 2017. But this does not agree with the balance as per bank statement. So starting point is 27,570 as per cash book. On scrutiny, you find the following discrepancies. Subsidy 10,250 received from government directly by the bank, but not advised to the company. Not advised to the company means what? Not recorded in cash book. हमको पता ही नहीं था कि हमको सब्सिडी मिली है और इसलिए हमारे बुक्स में रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ, बट बैंक के पासबुक में रिकॉर्ड हो चुका है. सीबी बैल, पीबी बैल, बैल बैल. बैंक ने पैसा रिकवर किया, मतलब बैंक ने बैलेंस बढ़ा दिया, हमने नहीं बढ़ाया. So CB to PB, add that 10,250. Now, how do you present this? Bank reconciliation statement. Under that, serial number 1, balance as per cash book. How much is the balance as per cash book? 27,570. Am I right? Yes. So subsidy received. Number 2, add. Under that, subsidy not recorded in cash book, 10,250. Am I right? Next, on 15th March 2017, the payment side of cash book was undercast by rupees 350. Payment side of cash book was undercast, means withdrawal side was undercast, credit side was undercast. Yes or no? First go back to cash book. Cash book debit side, cash book credit side. Credit side undercast, मतलब cash book का favorable balance 350 रुपए से ज्यादा है. Yes or no? Go back to reconciliation. Cash book का favorable balance ज्यादा है as compared to passbook. So CB to PB less rupees 350. It's as simple as that. What you have to do. So serial number 3 less, and that A, undercasting of payment side. You can write these amounts into the inner amount column also. How much? 350. Am I right? Yes, I'll go back to the cash book first. Cash book का debit side, cash book का credit side. Cash book का credit side is undercast. Credit side undercast मतलब cash book का favorable balance ज्यादा है या नहीं? Yes or no? Go back to reconciliation. Cash book का favorable balance passbook से ज्यादा है. Therefore, CB to PB less 350. Did you understand that? Okay, next one. On 20th March 2017, the debit balance of 2156 on the previous day was brought forward as the credit balance in the past cash book. Debit balance मतलब favorable balance था, ये आप carry forward करके आए पर आपने लिख दिया credit side में, तो आप favorable को कर दिया overdraft. पहले आपने favorable को कम किया और फिर उसको overdraft करके कर दिया, मतलब 2156 प्लस 2156 इतने से आपने आपका टोटल बैलेंस कम कर दिया है नहीं एज पर कैश बुक. देयरफॉर कैश बुक का फेवरेबल बैलेंस कम हो गया बाय रुपीस 4312. सो सीबी टू पीबी एड द एरर इन द कैश बुक और नॉट. नंबर 2, wrong carry forward in cash book 4312. right? A customer of the Messrs ABC who received cash discount of 5% on his account of rupees 2000 paid to Messrs ABC a check of rupees 20 check on 24th March. The cashier erroneously entered the gross amount in the cash book. अब यहां थोड़ा सा डाउट क्रिएट होता है. प्रथम, मेरे कैश बुक में फेवरेबल बैलेंस था, पासबुक में भी फेवरेबल बैलेंस था. मैंने वो कैश बुक में फेवरेबल बैलेंस नहीं दिखाया, तो मेरा फेवरेबल बैलेंस बैंक के कंपैरिजन में कम हो गया, और उल्टा मैंने उठा के वो ओवरड्राफ्ट लिख दिया, तो मेरे कैश बुक में और डबल अमाउंट हो गया, इफेक्ट हो गया या नहीं? सो कैश बुक टू पासबुक ऐड with the double amount for the previous one or not? A customer of Messrs ABC who received a cash discount of 5% on his account of 2000. On his account of 2000 मतलब क्या? उससे रिसीवेबल 2000 रुपए थे, वो 2000 पे उसको 5% डिस्काउंट मिला, मतलब 100 रुपए. पर जो हमारा कैशियर था उसने 2000 के 2000 रुपए डायरेक्टली बैंक कॉलम में लिख दिए. पूरे के पूरे, वही समझा रहा हूं बेटा, अब तक के समझाया ही नहीं मैंने. फोर्थ वन, पूरे के पूरे 2000 उसने बैंक कॉलम में लिख दिए. अब 2000 के 2000 अगर उसने बैंक कॉलम में लिख दिए, मतलब 100 रुपए से तुमने बैंक का बैलेंस बढ़ा दिया है नहीं इन योर कैश बुक. Why I'm talking about only 100 rupees? Because on his account of 2000 मतलब 2000 रुपए रिसीवेबल थे. 2000 के अगेंस्ट 5% डिस्काउंट, मतलब 100 रुपए डिस्काउंट देके 1900 रुपए का चेक आया था. 1900 की जगह तुमने बैंक कॉलम में लिख दिया 2000 रुपए, पर बैंक तो तुमको 1900 से क्रेडिट देगी ना. So you have recorded by 2000, bank has recorded by 1900, therefore CB to PB less 100. Yes or no? B, wrong debit in cash book, rupees 100. Next, on 10th March 2017, a bill of rupees 5,700 was discounted with the bank, entered in cash book, but proceeds credited in the bank statement amounted to rupees 5,500 only. Matlab, yes, of course, Gauri, you have to assume that the check has already been cleared by the bank. क्योंकि अगर वो assumption नहीं रखोगे तो ऐसे तो बहुत सारे ट्रांजैक्शन होंगे जिसमें you will always keep getting confused कि वो चेक बैंक में क्लियर हुआ या नहीं. When nothing has been provided, you always assume that the checks are getting cleared in the bank properly. All right? Yes. हाँ, 5,700 का चेक तुमने बिल तुमने डिस्काउंट कराया था, बट बैंक ने तुमको 5,500 ही क्रेडिट किया, मतलब 200 रुपए डिस्काउंटिंग चार्जेस आया नहीं. So you have debited the bank by rupees 5,700, but the bank has credited you only by 5,500. So difference of 200 is to be reduced or not. Discount charges not recorded in cash book. So discount charges of bill not recorded in cash book, rupees 200. Am I right? Niranjan, sir, in second, do we have to add as we have to find the bank balance? अरे भाई साहब, you have to prepare the reconciliation statement of cash book bank column only or not? You are comparing your cash book bank column with the passbook only or not? तो दोनों बैंक के बारे में ही चल रहा है ना. तो तुम्हारे कैश बुक में अगर गलती हुई है तो उससे बैंक का क्या लेना देना है? बैंक तो कहेगा तुमने गलती किया हुआ है, हम क्या करें, तुम अब तुम्हारे रिकंसिलिएशन में एडजस्ट करो या उसको रेक्टिफाई करो. Did you get that? निरंजन बेटा, क्या आप समझ पा रहे हैं मैं आपको क्या कह रहा हूं? ओके, थैंक यू. हाँ, then a check issued amounting to be 1725 returned marked out of date, no entry made in cash book. मतलब आपने आपके किसी कस्टमर को, सॉरी सप्लायर को चेक इशू किया था, वो चेक सप्लायर ने, आदित्य आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड इट ट्वाइस, आपने आपके किसी सप्लायर को चेक दिया था, वो चेक अब हो गया एक्सपायर और वो चेक आपके पास वापस आ गया. अब चेक वापस आया, इसलिए आपने उसको रिवर्स करना चाहिए था. जब आपने एंट्री की सप्लायर अकाउंट डेबिट टू बैंक अकाउंट, अब उसको रिवर्स करना चाहिए था, पर अब तब तक आपने उसको रिवर्स नहीं किया. सो चेक इशूड, यू हैव रिड्यूस्ड द बैलेंस बट द बैंक हैज नॉट रिड्यूस्ड इट. देयरफॉर CB to PB add rupees 1725. Check issued but returned. कितना? 1725. मैंने कहा इस चेक को अब तक के आपने रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया रिवर्सल को, क्योंकि चेक आपके पास अगर वापस आ गया तो आपने रिवर्सल का एंट्री मारना चाहिए. क्योंकि आपने रिवर्सल का एंट्री नहीं मारा तो आप तो बैलेंस कम करके रखे हो. अगर रिवर्स कर देते तो आपका बैलेंस बढ़ जाता. बैंक ने तो आपका बैलेंस कम नहीं किया ना. Therefore CB to PB add. Then insurance premium 756 paid directly by bank under the standing order, no entries made in the cash book. Insurance premium directly paid by bank, मतलब CP बैल बैंक ने इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम दे दिया, बैंक ने आपका बैलेंस कम कर दिया. आपने कम किया क्या? नहीं. Therefore CB to PB less rupees 756. Premium paid by bank, not recorded in cash book. How much? Rupees 756. Right? Next, a bill receivable rupees 1530 discounted for 1500 with the bank had been dishonored on 30th March, but the advice was received on 1st of April. बैंक ने तो आपका अकाउंट 1530 रुपए से डायरेक्टली 30 अप्रैल को डेबिट कर दिया होगा, पर आपके बुक्स में अब तक के रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ. यहां 1500 रुपए छलावा है. Whenever the bill get dishonored, at that time the bank recovers from you the whole bill amount and not the discounted value. Correct or not? Therefore CP बैल बैंक ने आपका अकाउंट डेबिट कर दिया, मतलब बैंक ने आपको आपका बैलेंस कम कर दिया, पर आपने अब तक के बैलेंस कम नहीं किया. Therefore CP to PB less. Bill dishonor recorded only in पासबुक. कितने का बिल था वो? 1530 रुपए का. सो एंट्री शुड हैव बीन ऑफ 1530 एंड नॉट 1500. ऋतुजा क्या नहीं समझा बेटा? देखो, विच पॉइंट यू हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड ऋतुजा? ऑनलाइन में बड़ा गड़बड़ वाला सिचुएशन नहीं दिख रहा है तुमको? बहुत सारे लोग आ रहे हैं जा रहे हैं, आ रहे हैं जा रहे हैं. मैं बड़ा डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा हूं उससे. ऋतुजा, कैन यू रेज हैंड? Rutuja, you can speak.
हेलो.
Yeah.
गुड इवनिंग सर.
हाँ बोल.
सर मुझे पहले से ही नहीं समझा, आपने वो बैंक बैलेंस कैसे कम किया और क्या हुआ?
सी, बैंक में तुमने एक बिल डिस्काउंट करवाया था 1530 का.
हाँ.
अगेंस्ट 1500 रुपीज. अब जब आपका वो बिल डिसऑनर हुआ तो बैंक तुमसे पैसा रिकवर कर लेगी या नहीं?
हाँ बराबर.
अब बैंक ने तुमसे पैसा रिकवर किया, मतलब बैंक ने तुम्हारे अकाउंट में से पैसे कम किए.
हाँ.
तो बैंक ने तुम्हारा बैलेंस कम कर दिया. कितने से? 1530 से.
हाँ.
पर उसका एडवाइस तुमको मिला 1 अप्रैल को, मतलब तुमने कैश बुक में वो 1 मई को, तो कैश बुक में तुमने वो 30 अप्रैल को रिकॉर्ड किया क्या?
नहीं.
नहीं. So there is no effect in the cash book, but there is the effect in the passbook.
हाँ, okay,
So
okay,
therefore,
okay.
CB to PB less.
Less. हाँ.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, I
Not
understood.
1500, but 1530.
30.
Why 1530? Because whenever the bill gets dishonored, the bank recovers from you the full amount and not the discounted value.
Okay, okay, sir.
Correct?
Understood, understood. Yes, sir.
Yes, no problem. Huh. Next one, bank recorded a cash deposit of 1550 as 1505. चेक. अरे यार मुझे एक बात बताओ, हर स्टेटमेंट को मैं तुमको कम से कम 2 बार एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं. मैंने तुमको कास्टिंग एरर या सारी एरर्स का कंसेप्ट सिखाया और उसके बाद इफ यू आर बीन आस्किंग मी द सेम थिंग, कैन यू रिपीट सर दिस स्टेटमेंट वंस अगेन प्लीज, सर दिस वन आई एम नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग. नहीं समझना वो अलग बात है, और सर प्लीज रिपीट करो, हमको अच्छा लग रहा है. ऐसा मत करो यार प्लीज. थोड़ी एनर्जी तुम्हारी, थोड़ी एनर्जी मेरी बचाओ. अपने को दिल्ली तक के पहुंचना है या नहीं? हाँ. एनीवेज, बैंक रिकॉर्डेड कैश डिपॉजिट ऑफ 1550 as 1505 एंड आपने जब डिपॉजिट किया तो आपने रिकॉर्ड किया 1550, बट बैंक ने आपका बैलेंस बढ़ाया 1505 से. देयरफॉर सीबी टू पीबी लेस 45. amount wrongly recorded in passbook ₹45. Correct hai? So these are the various statements that you have done. Now total of add column comes to what? 10 to 50 plus 4312 plus 1725. That is 16,287. So subtotal of this comes to what? Plus 27,570. That is 43,857. Total of less amounts comes to 350, 100, 200, 756, 1530 and 45. That is 2981. Therefore, the net balance as per passbook comes to minus 43,857. That is 40,876 is passbook balance. Did you get this? Yes or no? Now what I'll do is I'll talk from the perspective of minus. I'll talk from the perspective of add less only. Calculation aap kar lena. Let me come to the question number 2 now. Hardik, I'm not going to take any other question here. It's not only the Ekatvam students, there are the outsiders as well. Everyone doesn't have the notes. Okay. Prepare a bank reconciliation statement of Srihari as on 31st March 2018. Balance as per passbook is 10,000. So your starting point now becomes the balance as per passbook. So every add or less have to be thought from the perspective of passbook. Bank collected a check of 500 on behalf of Srihari but wrongly credited to Srihari's account another customer of the bank. मतलब आपके अकाउंट के बजाय किसी और को क्रेडिट कर दिया. Alaknanda, everyone have the PDF of these notes, not the class notes. Okay. आपका चेक कलेक्ट किया उन्होंने पर किसी और कस्टमर को क्रेडिट कर दिया, मतलब तुमको क्रेडिट नहीं मिला. You have increased the balance, but the bank has not increased the balance. Therefore, PB to CB add. Yes or no? Because your starting point now is the passbook and not the cash book. Bank recorded cash deposit of 1589 as 1598. तुमने कैश डिपॉजिट किया 1589 का, मतलब तुमने फेवरेबल बैलेंस बढ़ाया 1589 से, but the bank has recorded as 1598. So bank has increased your balance by rupees 9 or not? Therefore, PB to CB less rupees 9 minus 9. Am I right? Next, withdrawal column of passbook is undercast by rupees 100. Withdrawal column of passbook, cash book nahi, passbook is undercast by rupees 100. A passbook ka withdrawal column. Now you go back to the passbook, not the cash book. Passbook का withdrawal column मतलब डेबिट साइड. हाँ, कौन सी बैंक है ये ढूंढना पड़ेगा हमको. पासबुक का डेबिट साइड उन्होंने कम कर दिया, मतलब दे आर शोइंग मोर फेवरेबल बैलेंस और नॉट एज कंपेयर टू कैश बुक. यस प्रणति, यू कैन. तो पासबुक में फेवरेबल बैलेंस बढ़ गया. गो बैक टू द रिकंसिलिएशन. पासबुक का फेवरेबल बैलेंस कैश बुक से ज्यादा है, सो पीबी टू सीबी लेस रुपीज 100. प्रणति, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt from the first problem. Can I ask now?
No, wait for it then. Let me complete all the three problems and then you ask that question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Next is credit balance of 1500 on page 5 was recorded on page 6 as debit balance. Credit balance as per passbook. Credit balance as per passbook was recorded as debit balance. मतलब अब क्या हुआ? बैंक तुम्हारे पास और बैंक के पास फेवरेबल बैलेंस था 1500 रुपए का. उन्होंने क्रेडिट बैलेंस को नहीं लिखा, मतलब उन्होंने 1500 से तुम्हारा फेवरेबल बैलेंस कम कर दिया और फिर उसको डेबिट बैलेंस करके लिख दिया, मतलब उन्होंने ओवरड्राफ्ट दिखा दिया. सो पासबुक टू कैश बुक ऐड 3000. ऐड 3000. आई रिपीट, तुम्हारे पास और बैंक के पास दोनों के पास फेवरेबल बैलेंस था 1500 रुपए का, दोनों इक्वल थे. अब बैंक ने क्या किया, ये क्रेडिट की जगह डेबिट दिखा दिया, मतलब क्रेडिट नहीं दिखाया उसका 1500 कम हो गया और फिर डेबिट दिखा दिया उसका और 1500 कम हो गया. देयरफॉर उसमें माइनस 1500, यहाँ प्लस 1500. सो माइनस 1500 से प्लस 1500 तक पहुंचने के लिए ऐड 3000 करना पड़ेगा नहीं. The payment of check rupees 350 was recorded twice in passbook. ये एक्चुअली क्वेश्चन कैश बुक के दिया, कैश बुक वाला था, इन्होंने सिर्फ कैश को पास कर दिया है आईसीआई ने, बाकी कुछ नहीं. What is this pages? Pages of that passbook, cash book, passbook. वो जो मैनुअल लिखते थे ना हम लोग, वो पेजेस हैं ये. देखो कौन से पेजेस लग रहे हैं. हाँ, the payment side of check, payment of check of rupees 350 was recorded twice in the cash book, in the passbook. I'm sorry. Payment recorded twice. आपने बैलेंस कम किया 350 से, बैंक ने बैलेंस कम किया 700 रुपए से. So passbook to cash book add 350. Add 350. बीच में इंक काम नहीं करती है, झटका मारना ही पड़ता है. The passbook showed a credit for a check of rupees 1000 deposited by Sri Hari, another customer. Wrong credit by bank. Wrong credit by bank. बैंक ने आपका बैलेंस बढ़ा दिया, आपने नहीं बढ़ाया. So passbook to cash book less. Wrong credit by bank. Again, it is an error in the passbook. Therefore, minus 1000. Did you people understand this? So accordingly, balance as per cash book comes to plus 500 minus 9 minus 100 plus 3000 plus 350 minus 1000. That is 12,741. 12741 is the favorable balance as per cash book. Correct है? समझ आया नहीं? फोर्थ नहीं समझा. फोर्थ वन, withdrawal column of passbook is undercast by ₹100. Withdrawal column of passbook, पासबुक में अंडरकास्टिंग है. गो बैक टू पासबुक. पासबुक डिपॉजिट कॉलम, पासबुक विड्रॉल कॉलम. विड्रॉल कॉलम 100 रुपए से कम है, मतलब फेवरेबल बैलेंस ज्यादा दिख रहा है या नहीं? तो पासबुक का फेवरेबल ज्यादा है, तो पासबुक टू कैश बुक लेस. पेजेस भैया पन्ने पन्ने जिसमें वो लिख के फॉरवर्ड करते हैं. पासबुक showed a credit of check ₹1,000 deposited by Sri Hari, another customer, मतलब wrong credit by bank. Third question. On 30th November 2018, the cash book of Mr. Hari showed an overdrawn position of 4480, although bank statement showed an only 3,200 overdrawn. मतलब क्वेश्चन में आंसर दिया हुआ है. पिछले वाले क्वेश्चन का आंसर 12,741 है बेटा. क्वेश्चन में आंसर दिया हुआ है. क्यों क्वेश्चन में आंसर दिया हुआ है? तुमको कैश बुक का भी ओवरड्राफ्ट दिया हुआ है, पासबुक का भी ओवरड्राफ्ट दिया हुआ है. You can start from overdraft as per cash book, you will arrive at the overdraft as per passbook. If you start from overdraft as per passbook, you will arrive at the overdraft as per cash book. Ultimate balance match होना चाहिए. मैच होएगा अगर तुमने सारे स्टेटमेंट का करेक्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन किया तो. An examination of the two records showed the following. The debit side of cash book was undercast by 400. Debit side of cash book was undercast. Go back to the cash book. Cash book debit side, cash book credit side. Debit side undercast मतलब cash book का overdraft ज्यादा दिख रहा है या नहीं? As compared to passbook. Go back to passbook. पासबुक में कैश बुक से ज्यादा है. If your starting point is cash book, then CB to PB less. If your starting point is passbook, PB to CB add. अल्टीमेट इफेक्ट सेम रहेंगे. मैं यहां लिखता हूं PB as the starting point, CB as the starting point. तो अगर आप CB to PB आ रहे हो तो less, PB to CB जा रहे हो तो add less. समझ रहा है क्या मैं क्या कर रहा हूं? Can you raise hands for me? हाँ, good boys, good girls. Thank you. Lower your hands. A check for ₹1,600 in favor of Y Suppliers Limited was omitted by bank from the statement. The check was debited to another customer's account. Check in favor of Y Suppliers. हमने किसी Y supplier को चेक इशू किया था, पर बैंक ने वो हमको डेबिट करने के बजाय किसी और को डेबिट कर दिया. We have recorded it, bank has not recorded it. So we have increased the overdraft, but the bank has not increased it. हाँ, you have increased it, but the bank has not increased it. Therefore, CB to PB less, but PB to CB add less. Transaction not recorded in passbook, right? A check of 172 drawn for payment of telephone bill was recorded in cash book as 127, but was shown correctly in the bank statement. Wrong amount in cash book. Error in cash book. आपने चेक इशू किया 172 रुपए का, बैंक ने आपका चेक डेबिट, बैंक ने आपका ओडी बढ़ाया 172 से, बट आपने ओडी बढ़ाया सिर्फ 127 से. So CB to PB add the difference, that is 45. CB to PB add 45, PB to CB less 45. Less add कितने से? 45 रुपीस से. Yes or no? A check of 425 from Mr. Pal paid into the bank was dishonored and shown as such on the bank statement, although no entry relating to dishonor was made in the cash book. आपने चेक डिपॉजिट किया था तो आपने ओडी कम कर दिया था, बट बैंक ने आपका ओडी कम नहीं किया, क्योंकि कम करके उन्होंने बढ़ा दिया वापस से. Therefore, CB to PB add, PB to CB less. The whole of 425. Am I going right? The bank had debited a check of ₹150 to Mr. Hari's account by mistake. It should have been debited by them to Mr. Kar's account. That is wrong debit by bank or not? रॉन्ग डेबिट बाय बैंक, बैंक ने आपका ओडी बढ़ा दिया बट आपने ओडी नहीं बढ़ाया, देयरफॉर पीबी टू सीबी लेस, सीबी टू बीबी ऐड, लेस ऐड। A dividend of 100 collected by bank but not entered in cash book. बैंक ने आपका ओडी कम कर दिया, आपने ओडी कम नहीं किया, पीबी टू सीबी ऐड, सीबी टू बीबी लेस। Correct? Checks totaling rupees 1,300 drawn on November was not presented for payment. Check issued but not presented. आपने ओडी बढ़ा दिया बट द बैंक ने अभी तक ओडी नहीं बढ़ाया, सो सीबी टू बीबी लेस, पीबी टू सीबी ऐड लेस। चेक फॉर रुपीज 1,200 डिपॉजिटेड नॉट क्रेडिटेड, आपने लेस कर दिया क्योंकि आपने डिपॉजिट किए थे, सीबी टू बीबी ऐड, पीबी टू सीबी लेस, सो लेस एंड ऐड। Yes or no? Interest amounting to 300 was debited by bank but not yet entered in the cash book. Interest debited by bank मतलब बैंक ने ओडी बढ़ा दिया, तुमने ओडी नहीं बढ़ाया, therefore PB to CB less, CB to PB add, less and add. Now if your starting point is the cash book 4480 minus 400 minus 1600 plus 45 plus 425 plus 150 minus 100 minus 1300 plus 1200 plus 300, that is 3,200 as the overdraft as per passbook. Am I right? But if overdraft as per passbook is the starting point, that is 3,200 plus 400 plus 1600 minus 45 minus 425 minus 150 plus 100 plus 1,300 minus 1,200 minus 300, that is 4,480 as the overdraft as per cash book. I'm just repeating this for last, fourth and fifth point. Fourth point, a check of rupees 425 from Mr. Pal paid into bank was dishonored and was shown in the bank as such. मतलब चेक डिपॉजिटेड बट डिसऑनर्ड। इसका अर्थ क्या हुआ, आपने डिपॉजिट की एंट्री करी थी तब आपने ओडी कम कर दिया था बट बैंक हैज नॉट डिक्रीज्ड इट, देयरफॉर सीबी टू पीबी ऐड, पीबी टू सीबी लेस, क्योंकि डिपॉजिट है तो ओवरड्राफ्ट कम होगा। हाँ, fifth one, the bank had debited a check of rupees 150 to Mr. Hari's account by mistake. It should have been debited to Mr. Kar's account. Wrong debit by bank. Wrong debit by bank means what? कि बैंक ने आपका ओडी बढ़ा दिया, सीबी टू पीबी ऐड, पीबी टू सीबी लेस। क्वेश्चन 1 का फोर्थ। हाँ प्रति जी, तेरे पास वही सवाल था क्या तेरा? प्रति जी, साक्षी, तेरे को सवाल है? Okay, question 1 का 4. A customer of Mrs. ABC who received a cash discount of 5% on his account of 2,000. 2,000 के 5% मतलब 100 रुपए तुमको डिस्काउंट दिया था। अब 100 रुपए का जो डिस्काउंट है वो भी तुमने बैंक कॉलम में रिकॉर्ड कर दिया। अब क्योंकि तुमने बैंक कॉलम में रिकॉर्ड कर दिया, रॉन्ग क्रेडिट बाय बैंक, सॉरी, wrong error in cash book or not? Discount charges of bill not recorded in cash book. Sorry, wrong debit in cash book. आपने जबरदस्ती बैलेंस बढ़ा के रखा था, वो बैलेंस अब कम करना पड़ेगा नहीं 100 रुपए से। मैं क्या सबका आंसर वापस से दूं क्या? इतना पूरा स्टेटमेंट करके दिया, उसके बाद में तुम एक एक करके सवाल पूछ रहे हो मुझसे। Undercast, overcast, please practice as per the method that I had told you. Drushti, please practice that method. वन का 5 क्रेडिट बैलेंस कैरीड फॉरवर्ड एज डेबिट बैलेंस। यार मैं कितनी बार समझाऊं तुमको कि वो डबल अमाउंट से इफेक्ट, व्हेनेवर द एरर इज ऑन द रॉन्ग साइड the effect will be double. Okay, as I have discussed all the concepts related to the BRS and we have solved certain questions which are given to you in the lab. Now we'll take again a break of 15 minutes. It's again 18:34, the similar kind of time that we had earlier. And after that, we'll be starting with the concepts of bill of exchange. Lalit, पूछ सवाल.
Sir, I wanted to ask a doubt from our sheet which you have given us in 2019.
No,
उसमें
that
एक
doubt you send personally.
okay.
Yeah. No, I'll be continuing even the next lecture at 6:50. I'll be continuing and not ADZ sir. The next session will be announced to you after today's bill of exchange. हम लोग accounts को कैसे continue करेंगे क्योंकि पूरा syllabus खत्म करना है. वो कैसे continue होगा? It will be told to you. 6:50 is what we are going to continue again with. 6:50. Thank you.